I don't think I've ever seen a gacha game do something quite like this. Imagine spending months designing a brand new main character, teasing him to your entire player base, building up hype, probably spending a ridiculous amount of money on concept art, animations, voice acting, marketing, trailers, the whole package, only to completely erase him from existence just a few days after announcing him. That's exactly what happened with Love in Deepspace. Papergames introduced a brand new male lead named Valko. The community exploded almost immediately, and before most players even had time to process what was happening, the developers announced they were canceling him permanently, not delaying him, not redesigning him, not pushing him back to a later update, gone. And somehow, that's not even the craziest part. The developers also announced that there won't be any new love interests added to the game moving forward. Instead, they're shifting all of their focus back to the existing 5 male leads. That is a massive decision for an auto gacha game because introducing new romance options is usually part of the business model. It's what keeps the game fresh, keeps people spending, and gives longtime players something to look forward to. So, for a studio to basically say, "Never mind, we're not doing that anymore," tells you just how serious this situation became. Now, if you've only seen people arguing on social media, you might think this whole controversy was about one thing. It wasn't. There were actually several different complaints happening at the same time, and together they snowballed into one of the biggest controversies the game has ever had. Let's start with the thing everyone noticed first: Valko himself. Compared to the existing 5 male leads, Valko looked different. The current cast leans toward a very polished, elegant aesthetic with softer facial features. That's the style Love in Deepspace has built its identity around. Valko went in another direction. He was bigger, rougher, more muscular, and had a much more rugged appearance. Some players thought that was refreshing. Others absolutely hated it. According to reports from Chinese media, some players called him ugly, said he looked completely out of place, and questioned why someone with his appearance should even be a romance option in the game. Now, here's where things get interesting. Outside China, there were plenty of players saying the exact opposite. A lot of global fans were actually excited because Valko looked different. After years of seeing similar character archetypes, some people welcomed a guy who wasn't just another elegant, pretty boy. So right away, you had 2 very different reactions depending on which part of the community you were looking at. But appearance wasn't the only problem. This is where understanding gacha games becomes important. If you've never played one, it might seem strange that adding another character could make people angry. Wouldn't more content be a good thing? Well, not necessarily. A lot of players don't collect every character. They pick one favorite. That's their main guy. They save currency for months. They skip banners. Some people spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars chasing every card featuring that one character. Adding another love interest means future banners, events, story chapters, and development resources now have to be divided across 6 characters instead of 5. Some players looked at that and thought, wait a second, my favorite character hasn't even gotten a proper story update in ages, and now you're introducing somebody completely new? According to reports, one of the existing love interests had gone roughly 500 days without receiving a major story update. So from those players' perspective, Valko wasn't exciting. He represented resources being spent somewhere else. Then things became even more complicated. Another controversy involved an in-game document titled a 0731. Some players interpreted this as a reference to Unit 731, the Imperial Japanese Army unit responsible for horrific human experimentation during World War II. Whether intentional or not, that's an incredibly sensitive topic in China, and it became another source of criticism directed at the developers. Then there was the promotional trailer. According to reports, one scene showed Valko entering a woman's apartment through a window during what was intended to be a romantic moment. China Women's News, a state-affiliated publication, criticized the trailer, arguing that it romanticized dangerous boundary-crossing behavior. By this point, the controversy wasn't just about character design anymore. It had expanded into discussions about storytelling, player trust, cultural sensitivity, and the overall direction of the game. And then the backlash reached another level. Reports claim that some people sent funeral flowers, cow dung, and other symbolic items to Papergames' office. The article also says the game's Chinese social media accounts lost around 1 million followers during the controversy. Whether every report is perfectly accurate or not, it's clear the backlash became enormous. Now, here's where the story takes another twist. While the Chinese community was largely criticizing Valko, many players outside China were asking the exact opposite question. Why are you canceling him? Some global fans genuinely liked his design. Others felt it was nice to finally have someone who broke away from the established formula. When Papergames announced Valko was gone forever, a lot of international players felt like their opinions simply didn't matter. And honestly, this highlights something that's true for a lot of live service games. Your biggest market usually has the loudest voice. Love and Deepspace reportedly earns the majority of its revenue from China. If that's where most of your players, and most of your income, come from, it's not surprising that the developers would prioritize that audience when making difficult decisions. That doesn't necessarily mean everyone agrees with the decision. It just explains why the decision may have been made. One thing I do think is important, though, is separating facts from speculation. Some people argue the backlash was mainly about Valko's appearance. Others believe the gacha economy was the bigger issue. Others point to the cultural controversies. The reality is that it was probably a combination of all of those factors happening at exactly the wrong time. Trying to reduce something this complicated to one single cause probably misses the bigger picture. At the end of the day, whether you think Papergames made the right call or the wrong one, this whole situation is incredibly unusual. Game studios tweak designs, they delay content, they even cancel projects behind the scenes. But publicly revealing a major character, watching the internet explode, deleting that character forever, and then announcing you'll never add another love interest again? That's something I honestly can't remember seeing another live service gacha game do. This entire situation will probably be remembered as one of the biggest turning points in Love and Deepspace's history. Not because Valko ever became playable, but because he never got the chance. Now, I'm curious what you think. If you were in Papergames' position, would you have stuck with Valko and ridden out the backlash, or would you have made the exact same decision they did? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more gaming news, gacha controversies, and industry drama explained, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Isn't it a little too late to be scared at this point?